Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of everybody's favorite Monday show. It's Generational Sports, baby. Josh, how are we doing? Back from the grave of last week, huh?
Still kind of in the grave. I still feel awful. So it's not when it's not even really. Don't mind the sickness too much. It's that I can't taste food, man. It's probably the worst thing to ever happen. Yeah, I can't taste anything, man. It sucks.
Let me tell you something. I had a wonderful bacon cheeseburger before too.
Yeah. See, every time I go to make food, I'm like, it doesn't matter what I make. Like, I can't taste it. So
see, Josh, now here's the thing, right? I don't want to get COVID, but if I do, the losing taste better be my only symptom, because your boy's going on the strictest diet ever: Brussels sprouts and broccoli only.
That'd be tough, man. It's been like 5 days now.
I would look like a brand new man.
5 days of no taste. It's annoying.
I mean,
other than that, it sucked, actually. It's just been awful for the past week. But how are you, Connie?
Oh, Josh, we're chilling. We're chilling these days. I start school again tomorrow, so I'm not exactly great. Technically, I started today, but your boy has Mondays off, so it's okay.
Hey.
Mondays and Thursdays off, so it's better than last year where I had to go every single day and only had one class a day, so it was literally just wasting gas money daily. But other than that, great weekend of football. There were some fights that we're going to get into as well. We're going to do everything, Josh, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Well, Josh, there's no other starting off point then with a little UFC 270 recap. And let's be completely honest here, Josh, I don't know about you, but I only watched the 2 title fights. Can't lie to you. I was too busy watching some NFL playoff football. So if you watched the other fights, listen, you can go ahead, carry on, give your analysis of them, and I'll join you back with the title fights.
Yeah, I started watching at the early prelims because at every pay-per-view event, I just do one of those big, $1 parlays, pick every fight, see what happens.
Why not?
And normally it ends, with the first couple prelims because they're very tough to do your research on those ones, because a lot of those guys are fighting in their first UFC fights. But I got about 4 or 5 fights in before the parlay died officially, so I watched them early. It's exactly what Dana does for every pay-per-view. The early fights are honestly some of the best because it's just two very evenly matched people just going in there throwing hands. Like, there's no scheming really. They usually end early and they're pretty crazy to start. But yeah, I turned it off after the first few fights and then came back during the main card. And probably the easiest bet you can make UFC-wise, if someone has a last name near Magomedov, probably bet on them.
Animal. I did see that one. I lied. The man's an animal.
Yeah, just bet on them by submission. Just a nasty guillotine from Saeed Nurmagomedov. And then Michel Pereira fought after him in a pretty good fight against, I can't remember his name, but the other guy's first fight in the UFC. Pereira wound up winning by decision. He's pretty entertaining. And then the 2 main events that everyone was there for. I don't want to say that Figgy didn't deserve the win, because I think it could have gone either way. I had
no idea who won.
I think the only argument really for me, because Brandon Moreno losing actually ended my main event parlay, so that was pretty upsetting. But I think Figgy won round 1, and then I think Moreno took round 2 for sure. He was way more active there and landed a lot. And then that third round is really kind of just so tough to call, because Moreno was taking control of the round again, but then he got caught late. And who knows, maybe if there's more time in that round, because it looked like Figgy had that guillotine locked up, and it looked tight. So I don't know if the timer doesn't go off there. I don't know if Moreno escapes that round. Figgy might put him to sleep right there. But I don't know if that's enough to give him the entire round, because Brandon was killing him for about 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Then he got caught and then got almost submitted. But I think they probably gave that third round to Figgy, and then they probably gave him the 5th round too. But I had it 3-2 Moreno. and I expected him to win. But I mean, it's kind of the outcome we all want because now we get a fourth fight. If Moreno wins that one, Figgy's not getting another shot at it because that would have been 2 straight losses. But Moreno has to challenge him again, and this is the first time we've ever had 4 fights. Usually the trilogy ends the fight between the 2 guys, but this is the first time that the belt has been swapped like that. Starts with the draw, changes hands, now it's changed hands again. If Moreno wins this next fight, I don't know if they're going to be able to do a 5th one. Are these 2 guys just going to keep going at it until one of them dies or something? I mean,
So what is the current standing?
What do you mean?
Like with the 3 fights that we've had so far?
Draw first one, Moreno won the second, and Figgy won the third. It's as even as it can get. It's 1-1. This is basically a trilogy because of the draw. But I don't know. There's got to be a 4th one. And they talked about doing it in Mexico, which I really love for both of them. So hopefully we get that 4th one sometimes this year instead of waiting until next year to see it again because, I don't know, I feel like Moreno is going to come out swinging next time. I don't think he's going to leave any room for the judges because I don't think they got that right. And then the main event,
that was part of it too, right? Where there were definitely just moments in there that they both said, screw it. We're both kind of savages. And they just stood there and punched each other in the head. And then, there were the other parts, like you said, where Moreno got knocked down and, Figgy had the guillotine in and it looked like it could have been over there. And I can't see, this is one of the fights where I feel like you've looked at some fights and said, how did they do this? Or how did they do that? Like, how did they come to this outcome? Like, there's no way that they should have gotten there. But this was kind of one of them where even if you wanted a certain person to win, if the other one won, I don't think you can really sit there and be like, there's no way that happened.
Yeah.
Because, listen, as little as I know, I can usually still tell who's winning the fight. And this one, I was like, I have no idea. Yeah. I have absolutely no idea who just won. They gave it a Figgy, and I was like, okay.
I think that last exchange for me, when they were just both throwing at the end, I was like, all right, whoever wins this exchange, like, that's the winner. Like, whoever either gets knocked down or wobbled, and I thought Moreno won that exchange, so that's why I gave it to him. But yeah, you're right. That a lot of fights that when you hear, like, oh, he got robbed, and I was shocked that didn't come down to a split decision. All the judges agreed that Figgy won.
All right, I will say that was the one thing that did shock me. Yeah. You're right on that.
I think someone had him winning 30-27.
They said unanimous, and I was like,
yeah,
a little interested.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight. I mean, if I had no money on that, and if this didn't affect anything, I'd probably say yeah, Figgy won. But I don't know, I'm still kind of upset that they didn't say and still because I really wanted that. Brandon Moreno's turned into one of my favorite fighters, man. I mean, he's really fun to watch, and I mean, just watching. I wish you would have saw his pre-fight press conference when they were talking. Like, he is just so happy. But then you saw that walk to the ring, and he just mugging the whole time.
Oh no, he
looks insane. Like, flipping that switch is insane. And then the main event. I mean, I don't know how much people knew going into this fight, but these are not 2 normal heavyweights. No. Right? They're not going to stand there and bang. They're not Derek Lewis, who's going to just wait for that one punch. They're going to go out and they're going to show some jiu-jitsu. They're going to grapple each other, a couple takedown attempts. And I got to tell you, man, Francis Ngannou, I mean, he's knocked out Stipe Miocic, Rosenstrike. He's had some crazy good fights, shown a lot of growth. But that was the most impressive fight I've ever seen from him because he's down 0-2, clearly. Cyril Gane took those first 2 rounds. He was more active. Francis missed a lot of his punches. So I had Gane up 2-0, and then the last thing you expect is Francis Ngannou to come in and go for some takedowns and some really good, well-timed and executed takedowns. I was really impressed with that, being able to keep ground control. Gane I think the tank ran out when you got a guy that's probably – they fight at like 240-something, but Ngannou was probably close to 270 on fight day. Because after that weigh-in, it doesn't matter what they weigh when it comes to actually fighting.
Which, by the way, dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
How do you have to make weight the day before, and then all of a sudden you're allowed to be 30 pounds heavier?
Because you put on all that water weight. For the big guys, that's 15 pounds right there. So it's pretty crazy. But, I think Gane just kind of ran out of gas there. He wasn't going to be able to take down Ngannou. And anytime he tried any striking, Francis was just taking him down. And he really stole the last 3 rounds from him, which is impressive. And now it's like, we don't know if he's ever going to fight in the UFC again. We really don't know. We don't know if we're ever going to get that John Jones and Ngannou super fight that everybody's wanted for a long time now. I hope they can figure it out, but I mean, he wants a lot of money, and I don't know if Uncle Dana's willing to cough it up. So it's going to be interesting to see.
I do hope that they don't fumble the bag twice, though, because you go back and like when I started getting UFC, I like went back and watched like all like top 10 and heavyweight to heavyweight, title changes, and then I went down the divisions like lightweight to lightweight title changes because I do those compilations on the UFC YouTube. Shout out to people for being able to catch your boy up on everything. And the fact that we never got the DC and Brock Lesnar stuff, like they fumbled on that a little bit, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see if they would do the same thing when it comes to Ngannou and Jones, because that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Because I don't look at. I mean, they look completely different if you're being honest with yourself. Yeah. I mean, Ngannou is a unit of a person. Mm-hmm. And then you look at John Jones, he's kind of, on the skinnier side of everything, but yet he absolutely kills everybody he's in the ring with. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But I would love to see that. And then, like you said, it was very impressive to see what Ngannou did. And I tweeted it out as well. Like it was one of the more impressive heavyweight fights I've ever seen. I think I tweeted out like I just watched two heavyweights fight for 25 minutes and then nobody and they grappled each other yet. I'm so impressed right now. And it was true because you go into the fight and everybody, made the matchups, right? It was, Gon was gonna sit there and be technical and Francis is gonna try and knock him out right away. And I think they did a really good job on the broadcast as well with after the first like 2.5 rounds, it was gone. Like there was no knockout happening after that part because they're both ginormous people who have just spent, 10.5 minutes trying to get away from each other and trying not to, go sleep on the ground. So after that, the knockout thing kind of went away. And then, like you said, all of a sudden Francis turned into a grappler and a wrestler. And, there was points where Gon looked like he was going to get the leg lock and Ngannou fought out of that. And there were points I thought Ngannou was going to get a guillotine in and he didn't do it was incredible.
On the torn MCL too. On that torn, he had a torn MCL.
Yeah,
I was shocked when he said that. Like
that
he's picking the
had too.
Oh, that was nasty.
So I would like to see it again. I would. But I obviously my top priority would definitely be Ngannou and Jones. That would be unbelievable. But here's the other thing too that I kind of annoys me about UFC is the more active fighter thing. Like I kind of understand it because you're putting more out and like you're doing more things. But they said on the broadcast as well, those little stupid leg kicks that Gon was doing to Ngannou, they didn't do anything. It's like, why is he getting more points for basically poking him with his toe?
Yeah, I hate that. Like, I mean, you can throw a lot of volume, especially if you're not a guy who relies on like his timing and stuff. But like, don't put that at the other fighter at a disadvantage because he's not wasting energy with weak shots that don't do anything. Like, I don't like that either. I don't get it. But the judges are terrible. Judges have always been terrible for the UFC, man. They've always been so bad. So
it was a nice weekend for the fights. A nice Sunday or Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. So it was fun. The two fights kind of lived up to it a little bit. Maybe not the heavyweight because everybody thought somebody was going to get knocked out. But all in all, if you actually look at it, very good fights. But that's kind of like the appetizer. Because let's get into the main course and what everybody was really talking about over the weekend. CJ, what's going on, my friend? CJ, me and you were going to talk about a lot about this tomorrow as well on the hard count. But probably, and why I labeled the show this, the best weekend ever. Yeah. That was the greatest weekend of NFL football I've ever seen. Now, I don't know if it was because it was the playoffs or just because the games were that good. I lean more towards the games being that good because – I mean, hell, if they did that in the regular season, I probably would have said the same thing. It just made it that much better that it was the playoffs. But I think we're going to work our way up, Josh, because it almost seemed like that the games were perfectly aligned. Yeah. The games were played in order of craziness, it seemed like. Yeah. So we're going to start from the bottom. And we're going to go with the Bengals and the Titans. Just a little recap on that game. And, the second I think you can't recap this game without answering the second question that's posed in our Google Doc, which is, should they move on from Ryan Tannehill? And this is prime A1 example of what the NFL is now. You have Joe Burrow, who a lot of people, I don't know, probably already top 10. I see some people putting him top 5 because I have Justin Herbert in the top 5, and some people think he's better than Herbert. So some people can put him top 5, whatever you want to do, right? And then you have Ryan Tannehill. And I don't know where you rank him, but that's a solid 18.
Middle of the pack.
20 to 22 to me. Solid 18 to 22. You when you get that low in the list, you can, start having your arbitrary arguments and, I like this guy more anyway. But I mean, Burrow gets sacked 9 times, most in a playoff game, right? I think previously before that it was 8. 9 times, and just got up every single time. That stupid Rocky quote that everybody always, uses, that it doesn't matter how many times you get put down, is about how many times you get up or whatever. Cool, corny. But Burrow did exactly that. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up and said, all right, screw it. My offensive line's been doing this to me all year anyway. So what's the point? He got sacked 9 times in that game. I read something today or heard something today that Brady was sacked 22 times the entire season.
That's insane.
9 times in a game. I mean, that's literally not normal. It's a playoff record. So, with that being said, I think it's just a prime example of what quarterback play is now. And besides in one game, actually I shouldn't say one game because if you're asking me, but usually the best quarterback wins. We saw it this year, even through the divisions, right? Josh Allen wins his division, Stafford wins his division, Rodgers won his division. All these great quarterbacks win the division that they're playing in. And that's kind of how it was in the playoffs almost as well, because Burrow throws for over 300 yards. He throws the touchdown. He did have the interception as well, but there was no point where you ever looked at that and was like, oh yeah, Tannehill's probably going to bring them back. And I think it's because of the way that the Titans offense is run, where you can have the greatest running back ever. This is not the 90s anymore. This is not, the Emmitt Smith Cowboys and Walter Payton and everybody, Eric Dickerson. It's not the same people anymore. You have to be able to throw for, like, we look at quarterbacks now and if they don't throw for like 270 in a game, we're like, damn, what happened? Back then you throw for 270, you might win the MVP. So, I mean, Burrow's throwing for over 300 yards, and Tannehill, I mean, you got picked off 3 times against the Bengals defense, who improved absolutely, but are they, the Rams defense? Are they the Bill defense? I mean, I guess until that game. No, they're not. So very impressive for the Bengals. I'm happy for them. Listen, they're kind of a Cinderella team in a way, because nobody
I think they qualify
here. I find it hard to say Cinderella because it's not like they were, the
out of nowhere.
Playoff. They were, they were
heating up towards the end of the season. They were on like a streak. I think they had to win out to get in and did.
And let me tell you, they did. They certainly did. So I don't know, an unbelievable game. Henry, I think, had like 22 carries for 60-something yards. Obviously, he wasn't going to be 100% healthy. They said before the game he was playing with a plate and 5 screws in his foot. So, that's definitely not the most comfortable thing, I'm sure, to ever experience. But an unbelievable game, comes down to a field goal. And listen, kickers' lives usually don't matter. But these past few weeks, let me tell you something, they're making a real push. They are making a real push to be considered actual people on the NFL field. Because you got McPherson out here saying, oh, looks like we're going to the AFC Championship.
Just stretching.
Robbie Gould is kicking field goals over the Packers' entrance. I mean, Matt Gay missed a 47-yard field goal short, which was very odd to me. But then makes a game-winning field goal only from like 30 yards. So, I mean, whoop-de-doo, but whatever. But McPherson was 4 for 4 on field goals. He's low-key. Burrow played well, but he's probably the MVP of the game, because you miss one, you lose the game. But unbelievable for them. And for Tannehill, I mean, he even kind of said it after the game that he let them down, and he's kind of the reason that they're being held back. And I don't know what they do at that position because they just gave him a contract, and I think he has like a 30-15 record. So he's been very good, but I don't think there's anybody who thinks that they can get past a certain point with Ryan Tannehill unless something special happens.
Yeah, I think it's like you were saying, maybe like even a decade ago. I mean, you look at how the Ravens were run. Joe Flacco was able to get them because they had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on the other side taking people's heads off. Like, you used to be able, if you had a really good rest of the team, be able to win a ring with a mediocre quarterback. It's not the same anymore because you have to be able to throw the ball. I mean, they came out throwing the ball first play of the game, and it's a pick. So I mean, that's kind of telling of you need a guy in there who's going to be able to get a job done. Because if you look at the teams left, the 49ers are probably the least favorite team out of this, and that's because they don't have a quarterback you believe in late in the game like that. So, yeah, it sucks for Tennessee. A really underrated season, I think, too. They kind of never were talked about, and now it kind of everyone's kind of realizing why. It's like Derrick Henry's not going to be 100%. We don't know who else is going to be 100% on the team, so it's really just betting on Tannehill. And he played really well towards the end of the regular season, too. It kind of sucked because he was doing really well while Julio was getting healthy, while A.J. Brown was getting healthy and Derrick was getting healthy. He was carrying them, but then they still relied on him in this game, and he just didn't get the job done. And, I mean, the Bengals even gave them some opportunities. The Bengals missed some shots in the red zone for sure. I mean, that first drive, they didn't even walk away with a touchdown, I don't think, when they got that pick. So it was a tough game for them. But, I mean, this Bengals team is just – they have all the confidence in the world right now. They believed in – ever since that big Chiefs win, I think they've thought they're the best team in the league, rightfully so, because they've been playing like it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do next week. But I don't know. They don't really have options to move on from Tannehill now because, like you said, he's got this big new contract. They could draft someone this year, especially with how low-ranked this quarterback draft class is. Maybe you can find a gem with your pick, like in the second round or something, getting Sam Howell. But even then, you got a project. It's not like a guy that's going to come in and start right away. So I don't think they have too many options. They're going to still be competitive with Tannehill. They're still going to be able to make playoff runs. But winning a Super Bowl, you're going to need Derrick Henry to rush for about 2,500 yards. Like 2K is not going to get it done. You need 2,500 from him. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I didn't even think he played. He threw the picks, yeah, and that pick at the end, obviously awful. But I thought he played an okay game up till that point. I thought he was getting the ball to A.J. Brown, which is all you can really ask him to do. Get the ball to Julio, all you can really ask him to do. But then towards the end, I don't know. It was a tough spot for them. I don't think they should have even really been playing for the win right there because it's Tannehill. Like, I think Vrabel and that offense got to know their situation. Like, let's play for overtime. Let's not force anything. Like, don't force Tannehill to make a mistake there. And they did, and it wound up costing them. But, I mean, this Bengals team, I'm not sure anybody else would have really beaten them this week either. I mean, they're on fire. So it sucks for them. I think they're probably going to run it back next year with the same team. But I don't think they're going to be able to win a ring while Tannehill is a quarterback.
And I think I find it impressive from the Bengals standpoint as well because we know that they can win the offensive shootout, right? We saw it with the Chiefs. We saw them, blow out teams like the Ravens and things of that nature. But to see them in a defensive struggle where it's a 19-16 game and your quarterback's been sacked 9 times, but your defense is holding up. It was impressive to me. That was an impressive part of the game too that I don't think people are like paying attention to because we're so used to offense and everything, being that way. And obviously we saw that in the final 2 games, of this weekend. But the fact that they could go out and win a game where the defense mattered more than their offense was impressive to me too. And that's a scary thing because, when you get both parts of your team playing up to what they possibly can, that's when you really start making runs. That 7-game win streak the Patriots were on earlier in the year, from my standpoint, that's when their defense was playing the best and probably when their offense was playing the best as well. We see the Chiefs right now where, down the stretch and even at some points of the season, their defense was kind of winning them games at certain points as well. And now, the offense has done its thing. The defense against the Bills, not so much. But hey, the Bills went 7 for 7 against the Patriots, and at least the Chiefs made them punt this time. So I guess you can consider that a win as well. But yeah, I don't know where they go with Tannehill. I would be surprised. No, I think they should draft a quarterback. I think what you said is right. I think you take one of these guys, you sit him behind Tannehill for a year, maybe two, depending on which guy it is and how NFL ready you think they are. And then when his contract is up, it's adios. You move on from there and hope that the person you picked is the right one. But we'll move on from there. We'll go to one of my favorite games of this weekend, and that's the 49ers and the Packers. And Josh, I'll have you start out with this one. A little recap of it, future of Rodgers. What do we think about the 49ers and everything? Well, I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, I had the Packers minus 5.5 this game, put a decent chunk of change on it. So when the game started, I was feeling really good. That first drive from them was beautiful. I mean, they got the ball to Adams across the field. Aaron Jones is running like a madman. Really easy score for them there. And then after that, it just kind of felt like the offense went in autopilot. And I feel like they've done that a lot this year. You've seen a lot of games from them where they put up 28 points in the first half, and then the game gets close late because they stop trying offensively, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And, I mean, I couldn't tell if it was – I don't want to give all the praise to the Packers not even trying, because I want to give a lot of credit to that 49ers defense who stepped up big time. I mean, Tart was making plays all over the field. He was locked up on Adams a lot. Fred Warner, I feel like after last year, we expected a lot out of him. He wound up having over 100 tackles again this year, but this game he was everywhere. He even hit the belt, which is very risky doing against I don't think he ever lost before this game when opponents did the belt. So it was tough to see that. But the 49ers offense couldn't even get anything going either. It felt like every third down, Jimmy G was getting sacked. And so the Packers defense was doing their part as Zadarius Smith came back, played a really good game. That secondary was playing really well. Jimmy actually started off looking really good. He put 2 balls on the money, and Kittle dropped it, and then Jennings dropped it. So Garoppolo started off pretty well for himself. And then later in the game, I mean, all year for Green Bay, it's been the special teams unit. All year they've had problems with the special team, which I get, but I don't get, because you could have, if you have guys in and out injured, you haven't figured out who your punter is, who your long snapper is. I mean, but at some point you got to get it together, man. Like, that can't be that big of an issue, because that blocked field goal at the end of the half is a momentum killer, because you get the pick, which was a really bad throw by Jimmy right before half to try to force it like that, settle for 3. Jimmy tries to force it. They get the pick. They get that breakdown by the 49ers secondary. Aaron Jones goes for like 60-plus yards, gets them in field goal range, and then you let up a blocked field goal. I mean, that completely shifts the momentum. You had all the momentum going in. Now you have none. And so they go into the second half. The 49ers get the ball. I think they kicked a field goal to start the half or something. And then the Packers are still just in autopilot mode. They're just playing to keep the score where it is, not to put more points up there. And then the blocked punt happens, which is just insane to me. Because if you go back and look at that, I mean, the long snapper snapped the ball, and then he just kind of was like, all right, did my job. Like, I don't got to block this guy lined up right in front of me. And he just went back there and blocked it. And that's a tie game. I mean, then that's the tie game. And then it comes back to, hey, you have no momentum going offensively. You have nothing going for you. And now it's tied. You need points to win. And they couldn't do anything. I felt like Rodgers was being very conservative. If he didn't see Devontae open, he was checking it down. That's just what it felt like he was doing all night, which I hated, because I thought Allen Lazard had a really good year, and I thought he should have been used more in this game, and he just wasn't. And then the 49ers are able to get in field goal range. And Robbie Gould, I mean, Bears fans won this weekend, because not only the Packers lose, but Robbie Gould hit the game winner, which is beautiful. So, I mean, just I don't know.
Did they win though? Because they got rid of Gould. Now their kickers suck. And
Well,
Gould
it was just like it
wasn't
really a win. It was more like, hey, this is a good Saturday. Like, they could have been worse. This is a good Saturday. But yeah,
it's like one of their. It's like when It's kind of like when Brady does good for me.
Yeah.
It's like one of your own is going out there and doing
like when the
something
Bucks
good.
won last year, you were happy. You're like,
Oh,
hey,
of course.
Brady went and got one. Like when you see the Packers lose as Bears fans, it feels pretty
And
good.
it's because of somebody that used to be on your team. That's even better.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I don't know. Rodgers, I don't think he comes back. I don't think there's any chance he comes back. Because why would you, dude? Like, I get it. This is where you've been your whole career, but tell Devontae, pack his bags. We're going to, I don't know, Denver. We're going to Pittsburgh. We're going somewhere. Just not Green Bay, man.
Do that.
What do you mean?
I think I saw something today that if they trade him or cut him, it's like a 21 or 28, somewhere in that range, cap hit.
For cutting Rodgers?
Yeah.
I thought he reconstructed his contract and this was it.
2023 is the or I don't know. I know that this year they can't do it. Next year, I think after that it would be.
So he's still under contract. Like it's got to be a trade or something.
Yeah, no, he's not a free agent.
Then why are people?
Devontae Adams is a free agent.
I know Devontae is. So I thought they reconstructed it to where it was this year, and then he like has the free will to either extend himself or go somewhere else.
No, he's still under contract.
Then he's gonna have to try to force his way out.
And I wouldn't. I think he's under contract for like $44 million too. It ain't something slight.
Yeah. Damn. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, you drafted Jordan Love. Why would you want Rodgers back if you're gonna? They're like $38 million in the hole. Like you're not gonna be able to add anything. Like you can't improve the team at all. There's nothing.
Well, you see, the reason that they're probably not just moving on from Rodgers though is because they see Jordan Love practicing. And
I don't know about Jordan Love.
But here's the thing, right? You always heard about Mahomes. Like people that were practicing against Mahomes were like, we might have to give this kid a chance, So that's why right after the season, it was like, okay, Alex Smith, you're out. Bye. Pack your bags. You're going to Washington. We got this Mahomes kid. If it was the same thing for Jordan Love, I don't even think they would have brought Rodgers back this year. They would be like, all right, bro, we're not dealing with any more of your BS. Like, just go play for somebody else or go host Jeopardy. I don't care. We have Jordan Love. But, I mean, I think we saw it when Rodgers missed that one game with COVID that Jordan Love came in, and they did nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. So they're probably seeing him in practice and, see that Chiefs game, and they're like, oh, my God. We're going to go from 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row to Jordan Love and probably being terrible for the next few years. And also, they don't want to deal with that.
You look at when Rodgers was able to take over, they still had Greg Jennings. They had a young Jordy Nelson. When Rodgers leaves, and if Devontae leaves too, he's got nothing but
hell no.
He's got nothing, dude. It's going to be him out there with. I mean, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. I like them a lot, but a passing game for nothing. Like you don't have weapons.
And you're right, because I don't think there's a world where Rodgers leaves and Adams stay, and I don't think there's a world where Adams leaves and Rodgers stays.
Yeah, no.
Like those two are like that's the couple you have to invite to the party. It's not like you can just invite, your guy friend. It's like, oh, come on, girlfriend, come too. Like that's exactly what it's like with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, for this game, first of all, stop it. Get yourself some help if you're going to still sit here and ever try and take Rodgers over Brady again. I'm done. Listen, I've taken a lot of W's this year, Josh. I've taken a lot, if we're being honest. Josh Allen's unbelievable. Lamar sucked this year.
You did lose our wild card pick'em, though.
What happened?
You did lose our wild card pick'em.
Did I?
You picked Arizona. That was the only one we disagreed on. And I didn't pick any picks last week, so the divisional's dead. So we got to disagree on both these.
I don't even think that we can continue the playoff.
But we can't start week 1. I mean, it was a bye week.
Now we're doing buys. He's saying.
If I got COVID, it's a COVID week. But I was in health and safety protocols.
No. Whoa. What about the other shows you missed where you would send your picks in and there was no problem with that?
If you want to revoke your own regular season crown with that logic, I'm okay with that.
I mean, I don't know. I think I'd rather lose the playoffs because,
Yeah, I
back-to-back
think
champions sound fantastic to me.
yeah.
The playoffs is kind of just like the icing on the cake. Like,
Right. Like who
maybe
wants to win in the playoffs?
the playoff is kind of like the sprinkle to me because this is just,
I'm more of a playoffs guy though, so
oh,
that
now
makes
this, huh?
yeah, you're a
You
regular
come
season
through in the
champ.
clutch.
Take the regular season crowns, man. Cool for you. Very happy.
Listen, even if you take the playoff one, it would still be 1-1 in the playoffs and me 2-0 in the regular season. So I mean,
Hey,
it's tough.
I'll be holding the trophy at the end though, like at the last possible pick.
Well, I mean, technically not really, because if you added up our record from the playoffs and regular season, I'm still ahead by like 4 games.
But they're two completely different things.
I don't know.
I do.
Listen, when you look at the Patriot undefeated season, they're 18-1, not 19-0.
No, they were undefeated in the regular season. They were undefeated.
Okay, exactly. But I'm saying their final record was 18-1.
If you combine the two.
Yeah, which is what everybody does. So listen, unless we're combining the two, I think you're standing on false ground right now. You don't have the high ground anymore, Anakin.
I do. I'm actually I am the chosen one, so thank you. But I do think I have.
By the way, real question, because football's cool and all. Have we watched The Mandalorian? Or not Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to get into that as well.
When we do the little break later, we'll talk.
Yeah, when we do the break later on, we'll have to get into that as well. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, you little Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady compares. Another loss for you. What else is new? You stuck with Rodgers, you lost another one. 11-10 in the playoffs now, by the way. He's 5-4 in his own stadium. 5-4 in his own stadium. I remember, listen, Josh, low-key, we're old enough to remember when going into Lambeau was a death sentence. You couldn't win Lambeau.
No.
You're going in, packed house, all the cheeseheads there.
Now they don't know when to cheer and when to shut up. They're yelling when the Packers are on offense.
We got negative temperatures out there or very low temperatures. Impossible to win. And then Aaron Rodgers took over 5-4 in his own stadium. Could never be Tom. Never.
Tough, man. Tough.
So
I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, though. I still think he's up there all time for me.
Yeah, in the regular season. You're right.
Just as a quarterback.
Playoff choker. Confirmed.
He is. He does struggle in the postseason. Kind of like you, man. You and Rodgers have a lot in common.
That's just simply
regular season king.
Then you're Cam Newton. Terrible at all.
No, I'm Tom Brady. I'm amazing in the playoffs, man. No. I am amazing.
Because Tom is unbelievable at everything. I'm more like what you're good at. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I was good. Like, if I never had to pick the Panthers, man, I take the.
I took the Panthers,
but still the difference. The difference is still that's probably three times that you didn't pick them and I did.
And I won by like 5 games.
That's because I had to take risk the last week. If the game was 3 less and we were even, those risks don't come.
You shouldn't be so bad at picking the other
one.
Why
can't I say, like, when you said you're Aaron, when you said no, I called you Aaron Rodgers. I gave you a compliment.
That's not a compliment because you just said that I choked.
You get a couple MVPs, a lot of money. You get them duffel bags over there, but I call myself Tom Brady.
Tom's better looking. He's got a supermodel wife.
He's not even the breadwinner in his own house, man.
Yo, listen. Can you?
There's nothing wrong with that. Hey,
that's what I'm saying. I'm actually hoping that's what my life looks like. If I can go home and wifey's making more than me, absolutely.
I'll clean the house. I'll stay in the kitchen. I'll do that.
Give me an apron. I'll wear the French maid outfit. Don't care. Breadwinner, go ahead. Why not? We love an independent woman.
Oh yeah.
But where was I? No, big hit on Aaron's legacy, of course, as well. Probably going to be, in the same conversation as Peyton, right? Great during the regular season.
Yeah, that's actually.
And when it comes to the playoffs, just couldn't get it done. Peyton Manning, I think, has the most one and dones in the playoffs. Rodgers is 5-4 in his own stadium.
0-4 against the Niners.
0-4 against the Niners.
Like the 49ers kind of won by not drafting him. In a way. In a way. Like they didn't get, like Rodgers does have one more ring than them in that time frame, but 4 playoff wins. I could argue that they won by taking Alex Smith.
And I think it's corny for me to say this, right? But everybody in the national media is saying it, so I'm going to echo what they're saying, right? Aaron Rodgers, kind of a bad guy, right? We can admit, kind of a bad guy. His
I
family
don't think
didn't
he's a
like him.
bad guy.
I think he's a bad guy. Look, bro, what kind of person's family doesn't even talk to him?
Hey, man, you don't know the whole story, so don't
Oh,
come on now.
I
Come
don't
on.
know. Listen, I don't need to know the whole story. I'm just saying he's a bad guy. And with that
All
being
right.
said, he clearly doesn't trust anybody. He threw the ball 29 times, right? Josh, take a guess how many were to Adams and Aaron Jones.
Has to be 20, dude.
21. 21 of the 29 throws he had were to those two.
It's insane.
And Greg Jennings talked about it today on with Colin Cowherd that it's not that Aaron will never throw the ball to you again, but he kind of won't throw the ball to you again.
And I don't get that at all because like if you've had situations where guys you didn't trust screwed you over a lot, then it's like, all right, you won't throw to him then. But like the only times I've known of him throwing the ball to guys he doesn't know is that Hail Mary against Arizona in the playoffs when who caught that? It was I can't remember his name. But those were like
oh my God.
I can't like jumped over Pat Pete and got it. I can't
Bro,
remember.
and he caught the fourth down play as
Yeah.
well.
He basically got them in the game. Like
Damn.
how can they go? How can you say that when they've really only helped you guys that you're not familiar with like that?
Gosh, now you're gonna make me look shit up.
I can't. It starts with a J. Jeff Janis, right? Jeff Janis.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt just said it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when guys like Jeff Janis are making plays for you, and Al Lazard's coming out of nowhere, and those are your only you only have one guy you really trust because Big Bob Tunyon's been out the whole year. You got to throw these guys the damn ball. They're going to double team Adams. Throw them the damn ball.
Can I make a comparison right now to the actual GOAT, Tom Brady?
He makes people.
No, but in all seriousness, let's look at these two games, right? So Mercedes Lewis fumbles the ball, right? Or is it Mercedes Lewis? Am I?
Yeah.
All right. So he fumbles the ball. Never saw a target again. There was another wide receiver who dropped a third down pass, I want to say, or a pass earlier in the game. Never saw the ball again. Ever. And then, so he's only throwing to Adams and Aaron Jones, right? You go to the Buck game where Tom is playing, yes, has Mike Evans and Gronk, obviously. But all right? So that's your Adams and your Aaron Jones, right? Scotty Miller throwing the ball. Tyler Johnson drops like 3 passes. Brady throwing the ball to him.
Yep.
He's throwing it to everybody, and it's like, listen, and they said it during the broadcast as well. It was like Mike Evans is getting double teamed, Gronk is getting triple teamed in the middle of the field. Got to trust other people. I have to make sure that they can make plays as well, or else we're really screwed. And Brady went out there and said, "Oh, fine. You wanna double everybody? I guess I'm gonna have to go to Scotty Miller. Catches a fourth down pass.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to throw it to this guy because." We're in the red zone, and obviously they're going to double team Mike Evans over the top. All right, fine. Throw it to him. Like, there's Cameron Brate on what was that, 3rd and 12 or something?
Yeah.
So there's a difference here of like Rodgers gets stuck in his way versus trying to just trust the players that he's around. And
I think he's got good support. I think they're good. I mean, Alan Lazard and Marquez Valdez Scout. I can't even say his last name. Scouting.
Isn't it like
Valdez
Scantling?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even say they're bad receivers.
Well, MVS didn't play, right?
Then I'm thinking about St. Brown. That's who I'm thinking.
Yeah, he probably because I don't think MVS plays because he's usually their deep threat, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't believe he played.
Yeah, but even those guys, I mean, I think people forget they're still NFL. Like those were 4-star. Those are guys bodying your dads in high school and getting like 15 D1 offers. Those are still NFL caliber receivers. Like, I mean, Tom trusts his guys because he's learned for a long time. Like, hey, you're not always going to have Randy Moss and Wes Welker, sure hand guys out there. You're going to have to learn to trust these guys. And Rodgers just has never done it, and I don't get why. Like, you can't throw it to double team Devontae every time and expect him to make a play. Like that deep ball they threw towards the end, if you go back and look at it, Alan Lazard's cutting across the field wide open for a first down. And he just chucks it deep to Devontae because that's all he can do. But he had options, and I don't get it, man. it's his downfall now. It's clear that, I mean, you got to be able to spread the ball around and get people comfortable out there so you do trust them.
And that's the thing. Like you said, Lewis fumbles that ball, right? And the offense was never the same after that.
No.
Because they were kind of driving down the field on that one, too, where it was like, oh, my God, they scored a touchdown already. They're driving again. Because I agree with you. After that first drive, I was like, oh, this game is going to be 35-10.
Yeah.
I was like, the 49ers are about to get blown off of this field.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing from there on happened.
If they didn't get a good run on first down, the drive was done. It was done.
And, you can look at, the weather and this and that, and you're just making excuses because it's like you're the MVP, you're the greatest player ever, but your team put up 10 points.
10 points.
Like I sat here and killed Dak because they put up 17 at home. You put up 10.
17 wins that game.
I was gonna say if they play the Cowboys, even the Cowboys would have won.
Yeah. 10 points, man.
I think, of all the ones where people were like, oh, well, Rodgers in this game, his defense gave up 50. And in this game, this didn't happen. There's no excuse for this one.
No.
This is the one that you're like, what am I defending here?
Aaron Jones had
the Aaron Rodgers defenders coming out and saying they can't say nothing no more. Stephen A. Smith said, I can't say he's a bad man anymore. That's a big moment.
Aaron Jones had 170 yards. That man was carrying them. And they couldn't even – they didn't even get a first down after the 49ers tied it up. I think they went 3 and out right after that.
They did. They went 3 and out.
That's insane. How do you – I just don't get that. MVP, one of the best offense in the league because you got the MVP and the best receiver out there. And you put up 10 points.
And against a team whose weakness in the 49ers is their secondary.
Yeah,
they're not good.
Yeah, that's the bad part of the team, and you couldn't do anything.
I confidently, because I had a parlay, because I like to make one, a little Hail Mary all the time, which was ruined by the fact that the Packers lost anyway. But I had Devontae Adams scoring a touchdown, and out of all the things on my parlay, that was probably the one that I cared about the least. I was like, bro, he's going against the 49ers. He's going to in fact, I almost bet him to score 2 touchdowns. Because I was like, oh, this is going to be he might finish with 10 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And they did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And you like you said, the story is the Packers because of everything around it. And, Rodgers after the game saying, I don't want to be part of a rebuild. And see, that's the other reason I hate him. He's so annoying. He's so annoying.
You don't like Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays?
I don't want to be part of a rebuild. And then also saying I'll see what I want to do. Let me give you a hint, Rodgers. Pull yourself closer to the mic, to the speakers, everybody. The NFL without you, perfectly fine, brother. Perfectly fine.
No, what do you mean? The league's falling apart.
Yeah,
Rodgers leaves.
Once you retire, the league's gonna fall apart. Listen, did you see the AFC divisional game that we just watched? Did you see it? Because
15 more years of those.
Because I could give 2 shits about Rodgers leaving right now. Everybody in Green Bay is throwing something at the screen right now, but I get to watch Herbert, Mahomes, Allen, Kyler, Burrow. I get to watch all these people.
Yeah, I was really hoping you would slip up and throw Lamar in there so I could be like, Connie thinks Lamar's really good.
Do it just for you, honestly.
I thought you were good too.
I purposely didn't do it. But no, in all seriousness, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, if he turns out to be whatever.
Zach Wilson. So many good quarterbacks in the league.
I'm perfectly good, bro. You want to go host Jeopardy? You're good. I promise we're going to be okay.
I want him to just join Pat McAfee's show full time, man. Love the Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays over there.
Haven't watched a single one.
They're awesome, man.
I haven't really watched too much of Pat McAfee though, and I don't understand why because I really do like him.
It's a good show. That's the show, dude. The bar is set so high because of those guys. They have everybody on the show. They had Barry Sanders on just on a casual Wednesday.
True.
At 1 o'clock. That's insane.
But and then like I said though, the story is obviously the Packers because of everything, but good on the 49ers too. The cliche and it's always corny to say that all 3 phases of football matter. And this was a game where all 3 finally did matter because we usually look at it and we're like, yeah, okay, all 3 phases. who really cares? Well, if they didn't care like everybody else, then they probably wouldn't be playing in a championship game. But the special teams came through. As much as I think that Jimmy is textbook definition mid and doesn't do basically anything for a team, he made 2 nice throws on that last drive, one to Kittle over the middle, one to Debo over the middle to get them into field goal range. And then obviously Robbie Gould with that golden leg, as they say, which, by the way, perfect nickname. Absolutely fire. End up winning the game. And I'm a little concerned because, you see towards the end of it, Kittle limping a little bit. Debo went out for a little bit. Trent Williams was limping a little bit. So concerned for them moving forward, but in the moment, a very, very good win for them. Josh, you got anything else on this or we move on?
No, we'll move on.
Well, we move on to, let's see. If those 2 games were the foundation, these were the houses. These were the absolute houses of the NFL playoffs. I mean, it was just that this is 5-star Michelin chef. Unbelievable food right here. So we'll go with the Rams and the Bucks first, right? Unbelievable game, obviously, and it didn't look like it was going to be that way for a while, obviously. I believe at one point it was, I want to say it was 27-3. Or at least somewhere in that area. I know that Brady was down even more than I think he was in the Super Bowl. But this was, as much as I love Brady and want to give him, every ounce of credit because that's my guy. As much as it is about them, it's also about the Rams basically trying to give the game away. They were this close to doing it. They almost did. But Todd Bowles decided to sell in the last game like it was a clearance rack. But we'll get into that as well. So, the Bucs are down a lot. Obviously, nothing is going well with them in the first half. Tristan Wirfs was out, and you really saw that. I thought that the way that they would counteract that would for Brady to just throw the ball and get rid of it fast like he normally does. But Aaron Donald was in the backfield all day. Listen, it's kind of the same thing with the MVP in all leagues. TJ Watt is probably going to win the Defensive Player of the Year this year. Deserves it probably. But if you want to be serious, you could probably give it to Aaron Donald every single year that he's ever played as well. So, and he showed up in this one. He really did. Von Miller, looked a lot younger in this game than he has in the past. He played pretty well, and that backup right tackle was getting bodied. I mean, yeah. It was a tough watch.
No.
And if they had works, maybe things are different, maybe not. But it was I'll look at this. We have a special guest on the show. I haven't seen the dog in forever.
Yeah, he's acting crazy.
How'd you let him out?
My brother got a dog.
Yeah, that was just a quick. You just get to see Bug that much. That's all you get.
Josh, my brother got a dog. You know that?
He got what kind of dog?
God, that's a great question. I'll feel like it's a shepherd. I want to say it's an Australian shepherd.
Okay, those are cute. I like those dogs. I don't know all the breeds either, though. I mean, I barely know what Boog is. So,
what is he?
He is a black lab and King Corso, but they say there is no King Corso in it. But
he's King Kong. Is that what we said?
No, King Corso.
I don't even know. You could literally be telling me a random food label right now, and I would still agree with you. So I couldn't actually tell you. But yeah, it looked like the game was going to be over. And then you could kind of see it at halftime almost. Cam Akers fumbles the ball randomly. That would have been big because that would have, given the Rams an even bigger lead going into half. They come out of half and, you get the Cooper Kupp fumble. You get the snapper snapping it right over Stafford's head, even though nothing came out of that one because let's see what happened in that exchange. It was I think somebody fumbled for the Bucs or Brady threw a pick. No, I think it was a fumble for the Bucs, right?
Yeah, he got sack fumbled, I think.
Yes, all right. So it was a sack fumble. Then they snap it over Stafford's head, and then the Bucs get it back, but then they didn't get anything anyway. And then even after all that, the Bucs come back a little bit. They're still down a touchdown, and they go 3 and out. And then that was that hit on Mike Evans where, the ball hit the ground a split second too soon, or else it would have been, a flag during the play instead of after it, and they would have kept possession. But when that happens, I kind of think the game is over. I'm like, okay, it's probably over here, but, whatever. And then Cam Akers fumbles again. He fumbles again, and Dominican Sue forces the fumble. Bucks get it back. They get that 3rd and 10 play or 3rd and 12 play with Cameron Brate, where he's down about an inch short, it looked like, from the first down marker. And then I think the Bucks did a very smart play with everybody crowding, right over where Brady is thinking he's going to do the QB sneak. And he hands it off to Leonard Fournette, and somebody comes right through. I thought that they had Fournette in the backfield and they were going to stop him, but he makes a nice cut outside and ends up scoring the touchdown, ties the game. There's like 34 seconds left, I want to say. And then the Rams get the ball back and they get sacked on the first play. So they call their final timeout, I want to say. So then after that, you're like, all right, they're definitely going to kneel the ball out now, because I thought they were going to kneel it out before anyway. I think they're definitely kneeling it out now. And then here's where the mistakes start, right? Because everybody can look at the last play, and don't you worry. I am going to get into that last play. I'm going to get there. But the play before, where he throws that little ball to Cooper Kupp, they let him get out of bounds. The clock was still running. Because now you got to think, if they don't let him get out of bounds there, you're probably looking at about, what are we looking at? About probably 10 seconds maybe before they get their next playoff, which would have been the spike. We'll leave them with 10 seconds. You're probably taking one shot to the end zone because there's no way you're going to be able to gain yards and then either get out of bounds or clock it again within those, few seconds. And then the final play before the game-winning field goal. So, Todd Bowles, I'm going to need a slight explanation here. You have the best quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. Not an opinion, a literal fact, if you look at anything. A quarterback who destroyed you on the blitz in week 3 and was doing it in this game as well. And you slot blitz him. Not just send all the linebackers. You cornerback blitz him, right? So you leave Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown, receptions, yards, and touchdown, wide receiver leading Cooper Kupp one-on-one with your safety. Not another cornerback. With your safety. And listen, I love Winfield. I think he's a very good player. Guess what? Cooper Kupp was the best wide receiver in the league this year. And I don't give a shit who it is. No safety should be guarding Cooper Kupp. I barely like my chances if Jalen Ramsey was guarding Cooper Kupp. That's how good he was this year, in all seriousness. And you slot blitz him, leave him one-on-one, and he runs right past him. And in all fairness, they did get some pressure on him. And Stafford makes one of the better passes I've ever seen. I mean, it fell right into Kupp's hands just like this. They get up to the line. They spike it with about 4 seconds left. Kick the field goal. Game over. I mean, an unbelievable game. It's what made the weekend so good. I mean, that's how we started off our Sunday, so that was fantastic. But the fact that you, one, let him get out of bounds, and then two, call that play against Matt Stafford, who's the best against the blitz, and leave Cooper Kupp, the best wide receiver in football this year, one-on-one with your safety. I literally can't believe it. You should be null and void every single head coaching opportunity just for this year, Todd Bowles, because I'll give it to you. The last 2 years, they've been very good. But just this year should be null and voided because you called that play. I literally could not believe my eyes. And here's the thing, too, which really has to kill Buck fans. Like, one, if you tackle him while he was still in bounds on the play before, that play doesn't happen. And then 2, if Cooper Kupp somehow runs like probably 2 or 3 more yards without getting into the end zone, they probably don't have time. They probably don't have time to spike the ball anyway because there was 3 seconds left when he did. So they have to run maybe an extra 3 yards. Probably doesn't get that. Probably doesn't get it off anyway. But I mean, an unbelievable game. Josh, I don't know if you had anything on it.
Yeah, I don't get like, all right, so the last play, you see that they have to use their timeout, and then they do get out of bounds. Like at that point, it's like, all right, the only thing we cannot do here is allow them to get in field goal range. Like that's the one thing you can't do. And I think they sent about 8 guys on a blitz. Like, do you not understand the situation you're in? They're going to throw it deep down the middle, or they're going to throw it to the sideline and get into a long field goal range. And you send 8, like all those guys on a blitz just to leave the best receiver in the league, like you said, one-on-one with – I love Antoine Winfield Jr. too. I think he's going to be a great player the rest of his career. But that is so unfair to leave him one-on-one with Cooper Kupp in a situation like that because he loses 10 times out of 10. You're just not going to win that situation. So I think it was just, like you said, bad coaching. I don't think Todd Bowles should get another head coaching job anyway. I think defensive coordinator fits him very well. But it's just mind-blowing there. I feel like after seeing that first long pass or the first out-of-bounds pass, they're not going to just run the clock out for OT. They're trying to win it right now because Brady – and credit to Brady for that comeback, man. I mean, I had Bucks money line was one of my bets too, but it's just tough to see it go out that way. But I mean, he's very
burned by Mike Evans.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, it looked like Jalen was trying to blame somebody on that, but I think he realized he was on the island and it was all him. So, but I mean, it's crazy though. Like you think about it, like Brady, he capitalizes on all these situations. But he does get so lucky with some things falling his way, man. They doubled the turnovers. The Rams doubled the Bucks at turnovers, and basically all late in the game to give Brady a chance. I mean, that Cam Akers fumble, like it's the one thing you can't do right there. And he fumbles the ball, and they recover it. I mean, it was an insane game. It's another classic Brady game, and it's gonna be interesting to see this offseason. I mean, in terms of going out. Obviously, the Super Bowl, you want to go out like Peyton Manning winning a ring. But
do you want to go out like Peyton, though?
I mean, shit. At that age, with a noodle arm like that, I'll take it. But, I mean, not everyone can be Brady and break the record for completions in a season.
No, I don't even mean it like that. Like, seriously. In a way, I would rather him retire this year than go out with the Super Bowl but look like Peyton Manning. If I was playing a sport and I retired, I would want to retire where people looked at me and been like, "Oh, you could have played another year."
Right,
I would much rather that than retire like Peyton Manning and everybody be like, "That was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen."
Yeah,
Peyton has 2 rings, but everybody looks at that and is like, "You didn't do shit."
Yeah, for that second one, he didn't. I mean, that's why I'm thinking. Like, obviously, you want to win a ring going out, but Tom had arguably the best year of his entire career this year, and that might be the last time we ever see him play football, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Shout out to the Rams, though. I think they aren't getting enough credit for this for finishing the job. I mean, they allowed the comeback. We're very close to being in the same territory as Matt Ryan and the Falcons, but they stopped it. And I mean, Cooper Kupp is insane. And like you said, Von Miller looked so good. And I think the big tale of the first 3 quarters really before the comeback was – they were both missing star tackles. Tristan Wirfs was out and Andrew Whitworth was out. The difference was that the Rams tackles stepped up. Like he was doing really good against JPP and Shaq Barrett. He was playing really well.
Yeah, they started getting pressure in that second half, but
the
whole first half, they were able to build that lead. Look like anybody was missing.
They were able to build that lead because Stafford was getting a lot of time back there. But I mean the Bucks tackle, Jesus, Von Miller was eating them up like it was nothing, and then they put him one-on-one with Aaron Donald. Like, good night. That's good night. But yeah, amazing game. All-time great game.
Yeah, and I mean, for the Brady retiring thing, like, I think it's a bigger decision than it usually is. I mean, Giselle's wanted him to retire for like 6 years now. So I think he takes a lot more into account now. I mean, I think his oldest son is starting high school. So like, I don't know if he plays sports or anything. Does Brady want to pull the dad stuff and be there for his, be there to watch his kids' football games or whatever his kid's doing? And, but I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I obviously hope he doesn't. Because Josh, let me tell you something. When Brady retires, this show, I might shed a tear on show, live on the show. It might happen. Very possible. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I will be. I'll clown you forever if you don't, man. You can't be. You have to. That's the guy. I mean, like, that's insane. Yeah, you better cry, dude. I'll be very disappointed if you don't.
No, but like, I don't know. I think here's the thing, right? He's always said he wanted to play till he was 45. This was his age 44 season. So like, is he going to give up 1 year before he tries? So I think he runs it back. I think next year is his final year. And in a strange way, I hope he tells everybody it is too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think people like him deserve the send-off tour. Like, when
like him and Kobe did. Paul
like
Pierce and Big Ben.
Famous ones, like, you don't deserve
Paul Pierce. It's like he's like the Kobe of it. He needs that farewell tour. He deserves it. He's earned it. And I'd say other guys, how Big Ben waited till the end. That's appropriate. He's Paul Pierce. He's like Paul Pierce.
Derek Jeter did it. Mariano Rivera did it. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Kobe did it. Yeah. So it's like, those big fish. Yeah, they're allowed to. And I think he should, because there's just so much.
Every franchise he's got, dude. I hate when he's in here. Every franchise he's basically has some historic attachment to it.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, I think he's gonna be like a definition, and I think it happens with a lot of the people that are very good and we don't like. I think Brady's gonna be the definition of you didn't realize it till it was gone. Because like, that level of success for 22 years is ridiculous. Like, that shouldn't happen. And then, same thing with Kobe. Like, we all recognize he was very good, but then like, you watch the NBA and he's not there anymore. It's like, damn, like, he was that good. And then you watch, even me as a Yankee fan with Mariano Rivera, like, I've seen closers now over the years, and I'm like, damn, how is Mariano Rivera that good? And I feel like that's what people are going to do with Brady. It's going to be one of those situations where it's like, I really hated him while he played, but now that he's gone, it's like, damn, why did I not just appreciate it? I mean, I'll always have appreciated because I was a fan of the team. So you guys,
I don't think I've ever really hated Brady. Obviously, I think a lot of people, it's just annoying, dude. Like, come on, you gotta do it every year. Like, take a few off.
So take a year off. Why not? Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get to what quite possibly would have been. Listen. I'm gonna think about this very carefully, but I think this is the third best football game I've ever watched.
What are 1 and 2?
Falcons Super Bowl, Seahawks Super Bowl.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think this is. Yeah, I think the only way you can say you've watched a football game better is if your team was really like a part of that. Like for me. 2015 NFC Championship when we beat the dog shit out the Cardinals. That's my favorite football game of all time. But now this, just in terms of football and a duel for the ages, this is it. I mean, this is the greatest game.
Well, like, this is – all right, you want to talk about some cliches right now and, like, stupid sayings? This is the textbook definition, go look it up type of thing of neither team should have lost. Like, this is what it was. Like, listen, you know what we should do? Both teams move on. Whoever wins the Bengal. No. Yeah, so both teams move on, though, right? And the Bengals now have to beat both of them to go to the Super Bowl. If either one of them win, they have to play each other again to see who gets to the Super Bowl.
I think next year we just 7-game series.
Forego the season.
7-game series, Chiefs, Bills. Every regular season game is just a tune-up for them. It's that's all we need. It's this game.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen 2 quarterbacks in the same game play a perfect game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's games that you can watch where like, well, goddamn, this quarterback did literally everything right. And then you look at the other one, it's like, yeah, but he made that mistake and this mistake. Like, no. The only thing that Josh Allen did wrong was call tails.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the only thing that in this game happened that was bad. And I mean, it was I don't know what to say other than it was incredible. Like they scored what? I think 25 points in the last
after the 2-minute warning. Yeah. Insane.
So, and I think that's where the conversation starts, right? Because everything leading up to it is unbelievable. Obviously, the Bills go down. I believe they score. The Chiefs come back. No. So I think it was the Chiefs kick the field goal. Bills go down, score.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs go down, score. There's 1:08 left. The Bills go down, score the touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Then they tied. Then the Chiefs tied.
Seconds left. And this is where everything went wrong for the Bills, obviously. If you're the Chiefs, you're loving life. So, main thing, right? I would say that not kicking it out of bounds or not kicking it to like the 1 yard line was a mistake.
Well, I've been thinking, I didn't look at the play again. Tyreek wasn't back there, right?
I don't think so.
If Tyreek's not back there, yeah, you pooch that. You pooch the kick.
It's like, here's the thing. And then everybody's like, well, if the kickoff got returned, then he would have been getting killed for that. First of all, what are the odds of it?
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, like, I'm not going to sit here and kill him for that because that's literally what every team does.
That's not on him at that point.
Like the Patriots pooch kick it on every single kickoff. Every single one.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got Matthew Slater, so they're kind of like,
you know, it's true.
We trust.
I don't know if special teamers make the Hall of Fame often. We get my guy in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my first mistake, right? Because say you pooch kick it to the 1 yard line, kick it to the 5. You're probably, even if they go down right away, which is what they probably do, they're starting at their 10-yard line instead of their 25. There's still probably, 2 seconds that come off that clock. Now it's 11 seconds instead of 13, which maybe makes a difference. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But in reality, I don't think that they would go down right away because that's even more field. So I think they try to return it. You're probably going to leave them with like 8 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to leave them 8, 7 seconds, 10 max if they just run for a little bit and then go down right away, right? And then the play call on the first one, I'm not mad about, right? Because I think it was just a good play by the Chiefs where they
don't let it get out of bounds. That was all
right away. They had blockers out in front. They get a few yards. Like that's just a good play. The second play, like anything after that, and you listen, you might think it's dumb, you might think it's whatever. I'm not lying to you. I think I might have rushed one person on the last play of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably rushed 2 people, and I take every single cornerback I have on my team and put them on the field.
I probably rush one guy and have a quarterback spy. But other than that,
no, I'm not. You want to go run for 40? You want to go run for a touchdown?
Mahomes
against 10 other people though.
I mean, Tyreek comes back, catches the lateral. Kelsey comes and grabs it. I mean, those guys,
Listen, then that's a whole different conversation of now we got another miracle play. But I might have rushed 2 people, kept like 3 linebackers on the field, and everybody else would have been a corner. I want speed on the field, and I want people who have ball skills, right? And they rush 4 people, and they just drop back, and they basically give the play to Kelsey. Like it wasn't even man. Like they played a zone, and if anything, I would have played man in that part and double Tyreek, obviously. Don't let him get over the top, and then you can't really double Kelsey as well. But I'm playing like I don't know. I don't know, but rushing 4 people and letting that happen and playing zone was just not the thing for me. I'm putting a body onto the 2 people that I know the ball is probably going to go to.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think the whole point of what they were doing defensively was just I don't know if they thought the Chiefs were out of timeouts or that they only had
There's no
one.
way they could have.
Because
Like,
I mean, all they were doing was trying to not let anyone out of bounds. Like they were okay with the middle of the field, which really shocked me. It's like the Chiefs don't need to get out of bounds. They got 2 timeouts. And so after that first one, I was kind of like, all right, they still have 1 timeout. They're close to midfield. So obviously they're going to try to get something up the seams, get a quick timeout. They're not going to go to the sidelines because it's kind of pointless at this time. And then they kind of did it right. They had guys deep. That's what they were doing, preventing. But you don't let Kelsey get 15 plus yards down the field before he sees his
wide
first body.
open too.
Wide open in the middle of the field. And I don't know if you heard the clip of the play. Like Mahomes says to Kelsey, do it, Travis, do it, do it. Like he saw it, how easy it was going to be. And just basically told Travis, go straight, dude. Just run straight. I'm going to hit you, get down, timeout, field goal, boom. It's just I get the defense, but I think after that first, it's kind of similar for me for the Rams and Bucks thing. Like after that first play, you got to be like, hey, nothing behind us. And for the Chiefs, it was nothing in front of us. Like don't let them get any closer. Like if they want to check it deep, we have guys back there. But letting them get that underneath stuff with 2 timeouts is just stupid. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then obviously I think the big controversy comes once again with the overtime, right? So, like I said, the only bad play that Josh Allen made that game was calling 10. Everything else obviously worked in that game. They played unbelievable. He played unbelievable. And I don't know if I've ever stated my stances, or my stance, I should say, on the NFL overtime, but I just don't think we've ever really had to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. I don't care what. Listen, and I argued all day in the unwrapped NFL group chat all day. Oh well, the defense just has to get 1 stop. They just have to just hold them to a field goal. First of all, everybody's so worried about defense now, right? So why doesn't the other one have to do anything? So, and another thing, why are we punishing the team because they let up a touchdown? It's a normal NFL scoring system. That's like going into overtime and the first NBA team that gives up a 3 loses because
sudden death is just not.
That's fine.
Sudden death is bad for professional sports. Like it is bad. Sudden death should not work. It doesn't.
Like the NBA they gave up a 2-point. That's fine, but a 3, oh no, absolutely not. You give up a 3, the game's over. What profession in baseball, if the away team scores any way possible, game's over. A home team, you don't get a chance to bat again. Like, I think hockey is the first team to score, but it's also both teams on offense or defense or whatever at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's not like you cut the field in half and it was the Bills defense versus the Chiefs offense, and then on the other side of the field it was the Bills offense versus the Chiefs defense, and whichever one scored first won. Which, by the way, you imagine how cool that would be? You just split the field down 50-50 and both teams play each other. Yo, listen, NFL, I got a great idea. I just came up with a $1 billion plan for you. Imagine how fun the NFL
that would
game
be
would.
So hectic. How would the broadcast even work? Like that would be insane.
How about this? They trade plays, right? They trade plays. So the left side of the field goes first, right side of the field after.
That's kind of like how high schools do 7-on-7, and I really like that. So I like that. That'd be cool if they were just back
split the field in half. Why not?
Like Josh Allen's talking shit right behind Mahomes.
He's like, "Yo, fuck you, Mahomes. Watch this play. Touchdown. We win the game." But no, I think, like, here's my thing. I don't have the issue with the Chiefs scoring the touchdown or anything like that. My issue is both teams not being able to possess the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you not give the other team a chance to respond? That doesn't make any sense to me.
But do you know the crazy thing about the overtime rules? Like, do you remember when like a field goal used to win it? Like you didn't have to score. Yeah, when they changed the rule, it was actually the players' idea for overtime rules. Like, this is the NFLPA because they don't want to play long games, risk injuries, and anything like that. So I just think, why do people forget that that's how overtime works? Like, why did people all of a sudden now it's an outrage? Obviously, it's because it's relevant, but like, you knew that going into overtime. You knew whoever won that coin toss won.
Oh yeah.
Both offenses were going to score. They were both on fire. Like, whoever won the toss was going to win. So I get that people are mad that you can't respond, but that's football, man. Those are the rules. They've been the rules for a while now. So they just got to get
who I
used
wonder. I'm really curious what Travis Kelce thinks about this rule.
Why?
Because I just remember, a few years ago when
2018.
when the Patriots beat them in overtime, Kelce came out during the Super Bowl and said that that's a stupid rule and they need to change it. I wonder how he feels about it now.
He probably supports it a lot right now. And I mean, hey, it just
matters.
He's
He's probably never been a bigger fan of the rule in his life.
Yeah. I mean,
by the way, I think that's one of the other reasons I hate them. Because I can't stand the Chiefs. First of all, Mahomes' wife, top 5 annoying human being ever touched the planet.
You can't just dump champagne on people, bro. You can't just do that. Like,
second of all, his brother, top tier annoying.
Yeah, he's a bad person.
Dancing on Sean Taylor's memorial. Anyway, Mahomes, frog voice.
You just hate him because that's all you got
on steak.
Yeah, I agree with the ketchup thing too.
And then Kelce is the biggest tool I've ever seen, bro. I've never seen someone try to act so hard in my life.
Man, Cuddy, why you gotta be a hater, bro? Like, why can't you just like the positives of people? You hate Aaron Rodgers.
Who doesn't hate
Cam Newton? You hate the entire Chiefs organization.
No, I love some Andy Reid.
Yeah, his quotes are so random.
No, you want to talk about quotes though? This man dropped a bar after
that's the greatest quote of all time. But
he said, "When things are grim, be the Grim Reaper."
But did you hear his comment?
I looked at my screen. I said, "Damn, Andy."
Did you hear his before games, when he's doing his media days and everything? Like, he had a quote. He was like, "Well, if I eat a piece of cake and I see another piece of cake, I'm gonna go after that piece of cake." Like, that was his analogy. And now he's like, "Be the goddamn Grim Reaper." All right, Pat. Like, just flipping the switch, man. That's crazy. I love Andy Reid.
But I mean, I don't know. I just hate the fact the other team doesn't get to respond. I think it's stupid. Just go back to the original rule then. Field goal wins. Because I think the other team can't respond anyway.
Well, they were almost there. Like, if you think about it, it used to be any score wins, and then we're like, well, certain scores win. Now it'd be like, hey, you have to do all 3 phases. You have to drive the ball down the field, you have to score, and you have to stop them from scoring. I don't know why it's so hard to get that concept. College can't even do it right. They used to have it right.
College is stupid,
but now you go from the 25, both of you back and forth twice, and then if you both score, you got to do 2-point conversions. Like, how does that make any sense? I
don't like that. That's the thing. Bro, they should just play a 15-minute overtime period.
Yeah, if you're gonna make it so complicated, just play another quarter, dude. Just play another quarter.
You get paid enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. It's insane how simple it could be, but instead we got games decided by coin tosses. I'm just shocked that every few years people forget how overtime works.
I think we forget because during the regular season we don't really care, but when it happens in something like this,
Josh Allen played the perfect postseason. You could not have really played better than what he did. He had 12 incompletions, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And the record for touchdowns in a postseason was 11.
That's
man had 9 already,
and he didn't even get to the conference championship, dude. I don't ever want to see those teams play each other outside of the conference championship ever again. It should be a new rule. If they match up in the divisional or wild card, change it up.
Quick question for the masses out there. How we doing on that? Lamar Jackson's better than Josh Allen take. How we doing?
Listen, man. I think Mahomes still that guy.
Listen, that's fine. That's fine. You can take Mahomes. That's not what I'm talking about. How we doing on that Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson debate? How we doing?
I'm not going to speak for the. Actually, I will. I'll even take the bad argument. It's still alive because Lamar hasn't had his say.
Oh, he had his say this year.
That's all I can defend with. That's all the defense I can give you. He hasn't had his say.
Listen, don't be a lawyer, Josh.
Man, I feel bad
we better hope that this pod takes off.
I can feel bad for public defenders who know they lost, dude. How do you?
No, yeah, it's like this dude was caught with a weapon, 16 bodies in his trunk, but he needs a lawyer, and it's like, Please.
Your Honor, my client
Somebody
did
else
not
put
do
him in the
this.
car. I'm telling you.
That's not my client in the video.
But whatever. Josh, is that all you got for this one too?
I mean, I think the Chiefs deserve more credit, though. A lot of people are like, well, the Bills didn't even get a chance. It's like, but the Chiefs, I mean, being able to score in 13 seconds and then score in overtime again, that catch by Kelsey to end it was really, really good, too. I mean, he almost didn't catch it, so it was a very good catch. And I think we all got to remember, man, this is still Mahomes' world, and we're all just living in it.
Josh Allen's coming, though. He's going to be the Grim Reaper soon.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I'm excited for the next 2 decades, dude. It's going to be beautiful to watch every year.
Have we seen the Chargers and Bills play yet?
No.
Now I want to see a little Herbert, Allen. I've seen Herbert and Mahomes play, obviously.
I mean, there are going to probably be a few years where we get Burrow versus Herbert and Mahomes versus Allen, and then those mix and match matchups in the postseason, dude. Like, for a long time. So nice.
Although I will say, and this is what I should have said, during that Bengal game when we were talking about it, you better fix your offensive line.
Yeah, dude, 9 sacks.
You're going to have another Andrew Luck situation on your hands.
But
or another David Carr, not Derek Carr, David Carr situation on your hands, where I think David Carr got sacked like 60-something times in the season.
Yeah.
So you better get your offensive line together because, listen, 9 sacks is we're sitting here all cool and all, but that happening every week and him getting sacked 50-something times this year.
You think he was celebrating with the alignment? Like after the game, they were like, "Yeah, Joe, we won." He's like, "We? What do you mean we?" I thought 9 sacks. 9 sacks. Why don't you go hit the sled? Okay, go hit the sled. I'd be so pissed. Oh, live is like, "Oh, where's my cigar, Joe?" Yeah, get out of my face.
Sled. I would have said out on the field where you weren't.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll move on to a little story before we get into everything else. So I saw a little quote that Mr. Antonio Brown wants to play with Lamar.
I love it.
Yeah, you might love it. I give it 6 weeks before he calls him a running back.
I mean, possibly, but I love the idea of a couple games of it. Kind of like it was fun seeing AB and Tom together. It was kind of fun. I mean, I don't think I don't think the Ravens will sign him. I think there's 0 chance of that happening unless Lamar really pulls for him, which if I'm Lamar, I don't really want that around. I get he's a very good football player, amazing football player. But as a part of a team, when you're trying to win games, yeah, you don't need that in that locker room. That's not good for them. But it would be fun to see.
I mean, even Levante David, he came out after the game and said we were dealing with stuff. We were dealing with distractions all year. I wonder who that was. I don't know. I couldn't, bro. If I was a GM on a team, an owner of a team, I wouldn't let AB within 30 miles of my stadium.
Unless I'm in the XFL. If I own an XFL team and AB,
all right, well that's different.
I hope he's in there, dude. The Rock will make that man a worldwide superstar.
I forget the XFL is actually. Josh, you think we're going to do some XFL coverage?
Shit, man. I don't know. This Ben Simmons trade apparently is going to hold off until the offseason, so we might need some storylines.
You couldn't put your finger on it like Urban Meyer? Urban Meyer's a hold.
I bet he'll be in the XFL.
If I was the XFL, I'd hire him.
Yeah. We got Eternals. Let's talk about Eternals.
We got to do our QB of the week.
I don't think we have the same one. You're probably going Josh Allen, right?
I am going Josh Allen. You're damn right.
Yeah, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes.
That's fine. And it's probably the correct one.
Yeah.
With Josh Allen, you're my hero.
I think a majority of Patriots fans are Josh Allen fans, which really confuses me.
Here's my thing. I wouldn't care at all about Josh Allen if I didn't say that he was going to be good.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason I root for him and actively want him to be good every year is because I said he was going to be good. So, I just want – listen, Josh, you should know me by now. I care nothing more than being right. Nothing.
I don't think I've had I know so many people that have done that. Like I was high on him when he was coming out of college. I'm always wrong. I am wrong. Dwayne Haskins, dude, thought he was going to be so good. He sucks. Josh Rosen, been still backing him. I still backed him this season when he got a couple snaps. He sucks. I mean, I just
Well,
can't
in
get
all
him right.
fairness, I didn't say it coming out of the draft. When they traded for
Then even
Diggs,
better,
I
if you said it after his rookie year, then yeah, that's insane.
I said it after his second year. Like after his second year, I was like, he's not the best yet. And then they traded for Diggs, and I was like, bro, I guarantee you he's going to be nice. So now I root for him.
Yeah,
and I think he's just likable too.
He is a likable guy.
Like him and like it's weird, right? We talked about like how I don't think Aaron's very likable. Like Herbert, I don't know why anybody would not like him. Joe Burrow, everybody loves Mr. Shiesty. Josh Allen, cool dude.
Aaron
A lot
Rodgers,
of people like Mahomes.
cool
I just
guy.
don't like him.
Aaron Rodgers, fun guy. You got to tune in tomorrow. You got to watch Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Well, actually, tomorrow might not be the best one.
I might have to tune in tomorrow to watch him cry.
Yeah,
anyway, how about our player of the week, Josh?
Yeah, I gotta give it to Gabriel Davis. Insane game. 8 catches, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, dude played his ass off completely. I think he might have, in the speed of light, sweet chin music that corner out there because he folded him like an omelet. So it was insane.
That dude.
Folded, man. Insane. Never seen that. Never seen that, dude. That was 2, because who else? Someone had a route like that.
Gabriel. Who was the
just
one
last week?
Who was the really fast receiver on the Falcons a couple years ago?
You're not talking. No.
I thought it was something Gabriel.
Taylor Gabriel.
Taylor Gabriel?
Yeah.
Bro, in the Super Bowl, he destroyed Malcolm Butler.
Really?
No. Like, might have been worse than that one. Like it was something.
Malcolm Butler. Wow. What a one-hit wonder he was, man.
He was good for like 3 years on the Patriots.
He looked good because everyone saw that.
No, that's what I'm saying. He was good for the Patriots on like 3 years, and then he left, and we figured out he was terrible. All right, Josh. Perhaps now we can get into it, huh?
Yeah.
Our little break that we do. People, listen, we love talking about sports, but everybody needs a break once in a while. And I tweeted this out, right? That I think you're stupid if you don't think Eternals is a good movie. Obviously the Marvel product, the Eternals. Unbelievable movie in my eyes. Is it my favorite one ever? Obviously not. But very, very good movie. And a lot of people got hateful, like they were hating on it. And I don't understand why. Josh, I know you watched it. What about you?
Yeah, I loved it too. And I completely get why people hate it. First off, it's over 2 hours. That's the main reason a lot of people hate it. It's very tough to stay. If you're not invested in a movie or you're not hype about a movie, it's very tough to stay into it with the movie the whole time. Same. So that's why we were able to stay involved with it the whole time. And the second one is I think it's a lot of people saw Infinity War.
That's
No Way Home. And it's very tough for them to go from that to a 2 hour plus movie where it's not this whole coming of age or your favorite characters. It's characters you probably never even heard of. I mean, I know I didn't know their names until I watched the movie. But I mean, I gotta tell you, that's one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. Not only because I got to sit there and say Jon Snow and Robb Stark the entire time and got to see them on screen together again, which Connie, you would have loved the movie even more if you'd seen Game of Thrones.
I'm thinking about it.
Cersei
Cersei
is also a name in Game of Thrones, and the fact that they were all 3 there, it's like, wow, that's really cool. But yeah, I love the movie. I do think that the ending was not underwhelming, just not as cool as I thought it could have been. I thought it could have been a lot cooler. I didn't like when he just flew off into the sun either, because now they're saying he's going to come back, but like, didn't he just kill himself? Like, wasn't that what that was? But I really liked the movie. I liked the whole storyline. I think a lot of people didn't like it either because it was kind of rushed. Like the storyline was a little bit rushed to when they found out like why they were there and everything, and it kind of just all got meshed together with introducing the characters and introducing the storyline. I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it, but I think it's a very, very good movie. And after I found out what the post-credit scene was about, I loved it even more.
I still don't really know what it's about. So
that very, very last one where you hear that voice in the back, that was Blade.
Interesting.
So that's setting up the new movie. And that Harry Styles one could be hinting at a possible Thanos kind of origin story show for Disney Plus.
Oh,
which I love. Love that.
Yo, Disney Plus, bangers on there.
Dude, Boba Fett's so good.
Did you see the last episode?
I did.
That little, I won't spoil it. I don't know if people haven't seen it yet, but that little part at the end with the music.
Oh,
just saying.
Bro. I just, because I watched, like I'm a nerd when it comes to Marvel and Star Wars. Like that's my shit, bro. Like I watched the entire Clone Wars series, the animated one.
I still haven't seen those either.
It's tough to get through it because it's a kid's show. It's really
it's not because it's a kid's show. And here's my problem with like everything. When I hear the original voices, it pisses me off when it's not them again.
Yeah, I get that. That.
Like not hearing Hayden Christensen or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
that's so. I can't watch it.
Really?
Like it annoys me to no end. Dark Sage, welcome back, my friend. Been a minute, of course. Ask away. But yeah, I think Eternals was really good. I think, like you said, people just wanted it to be more than it was because we had just come off of Endgame, which was a 10-year saga that we just finished.
Yeah. And for a lot of people, fresh off of No Way Home, because a lot of people didn't go see Eternals in theaters. A lot of people waited. I didn't. I waited until Disney, the Disney, because they weren't even in my theaters that long. Yeah.
I gotta watch it again, but I did enjoy it. There were certain parts I didn't like, and I don't know if it's because they were already written into like the comics, so they just followed it. But like, there were certain parts I didn't like. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the leader's name?
The lady Ajax.
Yeah, like bro,
why she gotta die so fast?
That's what I'm saying. I was trying to see so much more, and like nothing. Yeah. And here's the other thing too, like the one at the end. What's her name?
The one that like stopped the thing from coming up. Cersei.
It is Cersei. Okay, that's what I thought, but I want to make sure. Like I had just come off, bro. Like seeing Cap and Iron Man, like all these cool powers. Like her powers kind of underwhelming.
I mean, you could even tell she was making fun of him when they were on the plane. She was like, "What's your power?" She's like, "Well, I can turn a rock into water, turn a rock into air." Turn a rock
I was like, really? She's the one that's gonna save the day, not like Icarus who's shooting laser beams out of his head.
I did not see him turn into the villain. I did not see that coming.
I will say, and another thing that I really love though, and I feel like in a lot of superhero movies, like the fast person, like all of their scenes are exactly the same. They just run past him, and then all of a sudden you see them like get hit this way, and then you run past him, see him hit this way. Yeah. Like for them to actually like slow it down and like actually show the fighting parts, that part of the movie was fire.
She should have been in it more too, dude. I love her. She's in Walking Dead too. She's awesome. She should have been in the movie way more. Why was she just chilling on the ship? Like she's been doing that for the past millions of years they've been on Earth. Just been chilling on the ship.
No, she was out here reading. Some people like books, bro.
Yeah, but come on now. Switch it up for the movie. We want to see her, dude. She was cool.
All right. We'll move on into basically our predictions, right? Yeah. We got the AFC Championship Preview, NFC Championship Preview. We'll talk about it a little bit, give our prediction at the end of it, obviously. So obviously AFC, that'll be the first game of Sunday. Bengals and the Chiefs. Oh, a little baseball question? Oh, God, this is for me. Dark Sage, you're right in my alley. I feel it's very unfair for the Baseball Hall of Fame to allow steroid users to be voted on when they still do not let Pete Rose on the ballot. I'm one of the very few, while not defending him, I do not think what he did was as bad as what steroid users have done. My question is, if anyone who took steroids gets to the Hall of Fame, should that immediately be grounds to allow Rose on the ballot? Now, Dark Sage, this is right up my alley here. And Josh, you could technically answer this because, this is basically, if you don't know, Pete Rose isn't allowed in the Hall of Fame. He's like banned from baseball because he bet on games. Also, he bet on games while he was a coach, not a player, and he always bet his team to win. So just keep that in mind. And then obviously steroid users speak for themselves. Like nobody who uses steroids is in the Hall of Fame. Here's my thing. I've always been a fan of letting Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I think it's so stupid that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Because here's my thing, right? How are you going to ban him from baseball and all this? Yet, like he has memorabilia in the Hall of Fame. So you can't. So you're banning him from being in the Hall of Fame, right? But he has a bunch of memorabilia that's already in there. How are we making sense of that one?
That doesn't make sense.
Steroid users, I've always been a no that they should get in as well, which sucks because like Barry Bonds shouldn't, in my eyes, should never be allowed in. If he never used them, he probably would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer anyway. So it's stupid that he even used them. Roger Clemens, one of the best pitchers probably ever, is not going to get in. I think he has like 7 Cy Youngs, something like that. He's not going to get let in because he used them. He probably would have been fine without it. Alex Rodriguez was going to be fine without steroids, used them anyway. He was not going to get in. Like, I understand why they don't let them in. I wouldn't vote for a steroid user, but I do think that Pete Rose should be allowed in. I absolutely do. I know baseball for years has not tolerated betting of any source, but they've turned a blind eye to steroids. See, that's the other thing too, right? Like you're turning a blind eye to betting, but how many, now that betting is legalized in more places, how many betting sponsorships you want to bet they have? How many?
A lot.
So you're going to turn your eye, but yet you have no problem lining your pockets with it.
And so nobody in the Hall of Fame, like there's no steroid users in the Hall of Fame at all yet?
Not, I mean, maybe there is that like went through the cracks that never got caught, but like known steroid users, there's none that have made it.
I don't know. I think because you say he only bet on his games, like he didn't bet like if other games or anything. It was just like, hey, I think our team's gonna win. Let me put some fucking money on it. Like that was it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I
guess people's argument for that though is that like since he bet on that, maybe he like overused the bullpen to like make sure they won that game. So like then the next game they maybe lost because he had to make sure they won that one. But like,
I mean, unless they won every game he bet on, which I doubt happened if he was doing this for a while. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a baseball guy, so I don't know the whole story. But I think if you're gonna celebrate people who use steroids in the sport, like you said, they have Bond stuff in the Hall of Fame. Like, you can't just turn that guy away just because he didn't even do anything to compromise the game. Really,
here's the other thing too, right? Like, I'm trying to see where I was going with that. I literally just lost my train of thought. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it back. I don't know. Yeah, I think Rose should be in. I wouldn't vote for any. Oh, that's where I was going. It's going to be very interesting with this one, though, because David Ortiz, who everybody loves and blah, blah, blah. Technically, he never came out and admitted he used steroids, but he was on a list of people that was found out, like, was getting supplies for it. And I guess he tested for it once, but, like, has just always said that the test was, like, wrong or something like that.
So, I'm sure a lot more people.
So I don't think he ever got suspended for it, but like he's apparently tested positive for it, but he's always denied it. And he's on the ballot this year. And a lot of people like just totally forgot all about him taking steroids. They're like, they kind of sweep that one under the rug because everybody just likes him. Unlike the other steroid users who are kind of douchebags. So if they let him in, then you really got a thing where it's like, so you let him in, but you're not going to let this guy in, even though his stats are 10 times better because he admitted to it.
I think in sports with situations like this, there's always going to be like things that just make absolutely no sense. Like, why is this guy in for this reason, but this guy can't be? Like, I think that's always going to exist, and it just sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Great question, Sage. Great question. Make
Great
sure,
question.
hey, listen, Sage, come back on Thursday at 9 Eastern when I'm doing my baseball show with my other guy. Love to get into this question again. But, Josh, we're running late here, man. Hour
We
40 already. Look at us. Preview for the championship games. Obviously, we got the Bengals at the Chiefs. The Bengals beat them. It was in Cincy, though, so obviously, new grounds to play on. And I think just the main thing for them, and it's tough, obviously, but it's keeping Burrow straight. Like, you can't let him get sacked 9 times again.
Yeah.
Because you're probably going to have to score a lot of points, and if your quarterback's getting sacked 9 times, I highly doubt that your offense is booming.
Yeah.
So make sure he's kept upright. Try and force that ever beautiful turnover on Mahomes. Hope one smacks off of Tyreek's head or Kelsey's hands again like it did so often in the regular season. And I think that's how they win the game. And I think for the Chiefs, it's, listen, put some pressure on Burrow, which obviously isn't very difficult. And just make sure you don't turn the ball over. And if they turn the ball over, you got to capitalize on it because you're probably – listen, we talk about, not winning the game if you're kicking field goals against the Chiefs. But it's probably the same thing, honestly, against the Bengals as well because, I mean, that is quite the offense, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's my keys, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say my keys, I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Just like you said, keep Joe upright. Don't let that man get hit a bunch and just keep up with him. I think the Chiefs are probably going to, I mean, they're averaging like 45 in the playoffs right now because they damn near dropped 50 on the Steelers. And then last night they put up like 30 something. So they're averaging a lot of points right now, and the Bengals are not. So they need to go back to that form when they beat them earlier. Like you said, that was in Cincy, though. I saw a lot of talk on Twitter today about Arrowhead being the loudest stadium you could ever have in a situation like this. So it's gonna be a tough battle. I do think Joe Shiesty is ready for it, though. But I don't know. My prediction. We should do score too.
Yeah, all right. I'll give you listen. As much as I would love for the Bengals to win, I think it's just too difficult. And I'm going to go with the Chiefs in like a 34-24 type of game.
I'm also going with the Chiefs. But I'm going to go 42
Damn.
30. 42-30.
Okay. Yeah, I think this game is kind of like last year with the Bills, where you know that they're good, but they're still that year away, so they're gonna lose. Not easily, but that they lost.
Yeah, I don't think it. I think it'll be very close. I think it's gonna be like a pick six at the end, just ends it or something. Just
at least
crazy.
We hope it's very close because I can't go through a wild card weekend again.
Dude, it's crazy how we went from the wild card to like the greatest weekend of football the world's ever seen.
It was something. It was definitely something. All right. And then next up, the Rams and the 49ers. Obviously, another big one here, NFC Championship game. And this is kind of this is an interesting one. On paper, you probably think that the Rams are going to run away with it, but Shanahan, 6-0 in the last 6 games against McVay, has this man's digits on speed dial. So, listen, for the 49ers, it's do the exact same thing that you've been doing against them for the last 6 games. Doesn't matter if it's Jared Goff, Ioana Golf, Matthew Stafford, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. I mean, the Rams, because they're in LA, have fair weather fans, of course. So they had to restrict, who can buy a ticket.
That's insane to me, dude. You're so worried that you won't have enough fans there in the conference championship.
Fair weather fans. I'm telling you, that's an LA thing. But yeah. So I guess for the 49ers, just do the same thing that you've been doing. And for the Rams, I don't know. I can't give the Rams any tips because I don't know what they do wrong against them. Like, how can you beat everybody else, but you can't beat the 49ers? Like, 6-0 in the last 6. Like, there have been 49ers teams that have Nick Mullins at quarterback, and you guys have lost. So, like, I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. I think it's just really switch it up, honestly, for me. Try something different because obviously the game plan that you always go in there thinking you're going to beat the 49ers with has not worked once. So, maybe just throw shit at the fan, McVay, and see if it's just try it.
See whatever sticks.
Yeah. Just throw it all, man. This is it, dude. You got to get to the Super Bowl. You got to do everything you can to win this game. And obviously the 49ers are going to be very confident in this game. So you got to try some new stuff. Let Cooper Kupp throw a couple of those. Let Odell play quarterback a couple drives.
Why not?
He's pretty good at that.
Give me a score, Josh.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. But I think McVay gets his win. Gets the monkey off his back. And I'm going with 2017.
I think McVay gets it off his back as well. I'm going to go 24-17.
So you got him winning by a touchdown. I got the field goal.
Going 24-17. Jimmy has attempted to give away the first 2 playoff games on a silver platter. He's tried very hard.
Yes.
I think in this one he finally gives it away.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good game though. Good games this weekend.
Well, Josh, that brings us to the end of a long and very fun episode, may I say so myself. So with that being said, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the show. There was no color cast tonight. It wouldn't work for the kid. So we were strictly on the YouTubes, the good old Facebook, Twitch, all that. Obviously, we said this before, but if you were on Twitter during the show, sorry, we cannot see your comments anymore. So make sure you go over to YouTube, Generational Sports. Check that out. Check out the Instagram. Everything. Listen, I'll just start with my plugs, I guess. Anthony Conover _ on Twitter. You can follow our pod, like I said right there, Gen Z Sports. Go follow that on Twitter. That's also the @ for the IG as well. And I do this show Monday, 7 Eastern every week with this guy over here. Tuesday, me and CJ do the hard count where strictly football people breaking down everything. So I'll kind of do the same thing, but with CJ and probably even more in depth if that's even possible. Because listen, CJ out here be bringing I'm on half of these shows because I like to talk a lot. Okay, and then Thursday, backstop banter, everything in the baseball world. Me and Michael are talking about. We got a lockout going on right now, but hey, they've met. They met again today. They're meeting again tomorrow. So maybe things are going to get sped along here. I think we got a guest this Thursday as well. So make sure you check that out. Backstop banter. Make sure you go listen to the pod if you missed anything. Leave us a nice comment. Leave us a nice review. But with that being said, Josh, where can they find you?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at JoeLynn_4. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And make sure if you haven't yet, go over to Underdog. Use code GenZ. Double your first deposit up to $100. Free money over there. They got a lot of cool promos going on right now. So make sure you go check those out. And yeah, tune in Monday, 7 Eastern.
All right. With that being said, it was a wonderful episode. I appreciate everybody for tuning on in. And listen, everybody, we'll catch you on the flip side, okay?